Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of Cycling 101. This is a series of videos where I try to go through some of the real basic things that I think everyone who is a beginning cyclist might want to learn about the sport. And also, if you're an experienced person, you may pick up a few things here and there. And as always, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you know when I've posted another video. Today, what I'd like to talk to you about is breakaways. And I could spend a really long time because there's just so much to talk about when you look at a breakaway. But I thought I would start with some basic questions. There's going to be 4 things I want to address, and they're really coming from my viewers who have asked me these questions. So I want to answer them because, well, that's what I like to do on this channel. If you make comments down below, if you've got inquiries, I appreciate those, and then I try to address them as soon as possible and whenever it's feasible to maybe bring it into a video I'm making. So the first thing, what is a breakaway? Of course, that's where we have to start. In the simplest of terms, that is when one, which would then be a solo breakaway, or a group of riders escape from the main peloton. So another term thrown in there, the peloton is the group of riders. If you're in a large race and there are 20 teams and there are 8 riders per team, we're talking about 160 riders. That is the peloton, and then we've got riders that go up ahead and break away. They go away from the peloton, and they ride out front of the peloton. As I said, we are going to dig a lot deeper into this, but suffice it to say, if you're in a breakaway, you're not in the peloton. All right, that's the first thing. Next thing my viewer asked me is, this for, I'm running out of space. Is this for every stage? Now, there are some stages that are perfect breakaway stages, and you'll even hear the commentators say that. This is a breakaway stage, or this is a sprinter stage, or this is a climber stage or a mountainous stage that lends itself more towards the GC riders. We'll get into that as well. GC stands for general classification. There are multiple classifications within a race. General classification is the overall leaderboard. So the question now is this for every stage? Not every stage will lend itself to a breakaway being successful. However, every stage can be open to a breakaway, except maybe a time trial, obviously, because each individual racer goes out on a set schedule, 2 to 3 minutes apart if you're on the top of the leaderboard, and 1 minute apart if you're down in the lower part of the classification. Every stage, sure, it's possible that a breakaway might establish, but based on what the strategy is for the teams, the bigger teams that have whatever their interests may be, they may want to shut down a breakaway pretty quickly if they have other intentions for that stage. Remember, one of the things I mentioned in one of my previous videos about what makes cycling so different is that you have 20 teams or more with many different interests, and you have 160 riders and maybe more with different goals as well on a daily basis, and even change, and these things could change even during the stage. First few hours may be one goal, and then all of a sudden one of your guys crashes and everything's got to change. So you had a plan, but now everything's got to change and you're looking for something else by the end of the stage. Number 3, that's terrible. So let's do that again. I'm going to abbreviate what that question is. Basically, what riders are part of the breakaway? Well, that's where the challenge comes in. Riders that try to break away from the peloton, if they're dangerous riders to, in other words, they're very close in time to the overall race leaders, if those riders are very close in time, they may not be allowed to get into that breakaway. So what riders get into the breakaway? Early in the race, in a stage race, a multiple day race, a stage race, the time gaps are really, really small. So it's a real challenge to get in that breakaway. As the days go on, you're 5 days into a 21-day race, you're 10 days into a 21-day race, the time gaps now have grown significantly. And you may get people that go into the breakaway that are an hour behind. And they pose no risk or danger to a general classification rider, a GC rider. And the team that has the yellow jersey, if we're talking about the tour, which is going on right now, they won't waste any time chasing someone down that's an hour behind their leader. They just let them go up the road. So what riders end up in the breakaway? Typically riders who are down on time, or really powerful riders who are taking a big risk. Because if you think about it, in a stage race, it's economy of effort to be able to last all 21 days. And if you're going all out to get into, by the way, if you are subscribed to, let's say, GCN or something like that, you are now seeing line-to-line coverage. The first hour of a stage, if not longer, sometimes that's how long it takes to establish a breakaway. And these guys and girls are attacking off the front of the peloton at full effort, trying to break away from the peloton. And so when you look back to see what riders make it into the peloton, you have to consider that inside the team car, each one of the director sportifs, which is the guy in charge, he's looking, or he can also see the television coverage. He's also got race radio coming through. And they say, okay, we've got 4 riders up the road. They are so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so from team. And then the director sportif is in the vehicle and is looking at the time gaps and says, no, that guy's too close to our guy, our race leader within our team. And he gets on the radio and he starts telling his team, get out there, get to the front of the peloton and chase down that breakaway. And then everything comes back together, and then someone else or 3-4 more guys and gals will attack off the front of the peloton because the peloton has surged, it's caught that breakaway, and then all of a sudden there's a lull in the action, and that's the best time to do a counterattack. So boom, 3-4 more guys or gals will shoot off the front of the peloton. And then again, the director sportif of multiple other teams are looking and they're like, no, that guy is only 3 minutes behind our race leader. Get to the front, chase him down. And this goes on and on and on and on until finally the right group of riders, what riders are in the breakaway, the right group of riders with the right amount of either, yes, we can chase them down, they're not that strong of a rider, or their time gap is so large that it's not going to make a difference if they win the stage. Okay, so that is a discussion that can go on for hours. Now, The last question, because we're going to keep this short today, and we will do a lot more about this, or things like this. The next question was, do all races, do all tours have breakaways? Well, based on the things that we just talked about, the answer is yes, but all these other factors are at play. You may, for a one-day race, you'll have people that attack off the front and they just won't get chased down because they'll think, oh, well, you know what, we can catch him later. And the guy or gal is off the front for kilometer after kilometer after kilometer. And then finally, when the peloton decides to chase them down, they either catch them or they don't. So yes, one-day races can have, almost all one-day races can have a breakaway, and as well as tours. It just depends on how the stage is set up and what teams have what interests for that day. The strategy, remember that on a tour, which we could say, basically anything more than 5 or 6 days, 7 days, up to as much as 21 days of racing. If you have 21 days of racing, the first few stages, or even some stages in the middle, things just don't matter as much. So you may let a breakaway go up the road. And this happened years ago. I don't remember the year, but one of the years, the breakaway went up the road. They didn't think anything of it. Guy got in the yellow jersey and ended up wearing the yellow jersey for about, 10 days, 14 days. And the guy wouldn't relinquish the jersey. He was riding so strong because he did not want to give up the yellow jersey. And, he's a Frenchman. And of course, that was a big thing for him to stay in that yellow jersey the longer he could. So sometimes the peloton takes a risk by letting a breakaway go up the road. The time gap gets huge. The guy wins the stage. He's in the leader's jersey, and they can't take it back from that team for multiple days, and that becomes a challenge. But it makes the race interesting. And of course, as race fans, we want to see things that are unexpected, and we want this variety to happen, because that makes it exciting. That creates the drama in the race. So there's a lot more I wish to talk about breakaways, but that is what we're going to talk about today. In future videos, I want to talk about riders, like specific riders that are good at breakaways, their philosophy on breakaways, things like that. And I want to explain more about time gaps and the peloton and things like that. But I thought this would be a primer. This would be just a very basic thing to start off with. And please, comments below so that I know what things do you not understand about professional cycling, and let me see if I can help you understand it better. Okay, that's all for today. I appreciate your time and your attention. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you up the road.